Hey everyone, welcome to the Soul Rehab Project. This is Sarah Saxby, and this is the podcast where we talk about lies. We talk about the lies we tell ourselves every day and the lies that we have been told by the system who benefits from us staying small. So today I want to talk about the script that we all live. We think we're unhappy because our lives are just, not, our lives are hard. But we're actually unhappy because we're living a script. We're living a life that someone else handed to us. We're living a life that was handed to us by our parents, by our culture, by our church, by our fear. We were given a template and told this is the way you do it. This is the way to all fulfillment and happiness. And we all do it as if we're all supposed to do that as individual human beings. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about who benefits from us living the script. And then what happens when we live our truth. So, and I have a lot of notes here, like I always do, because I'm one of those people that actually, when I go to bed at night, I always have my notebook and a pen on my bed with me because I wake up in the middle of the night and I just start writing stuff. So this is one of those things that it kind of got me in the middle of the night. So I have all kinds of stuff I want to say. So most people don't write their own lives. They inherit them. So if you think about that, we're handed a script when we're born. And think about how many people in this world, how many people are in this world, and how we're all expected in one way or another to live according to this template, as if we're not individual, separate human beings with our own preferences. Everyone has to fit into this template, regardless of how they operate. I have a kid. One of my kids is very active in it. He's a doer. He likes to see how things are done. But it's like you're expected to sit down at a desk for all kinds of hours and just focus. And it's like, nothing wrong with a kid. He learns by actually doing. And so that's just a small example, but we're given this script as if every single person in the world is supposed to fit into that template. And we wonder why our lives have so much resistance, why there's so much disconnect and so much illness and so much unhappiness and unfulfilled living. It's because we were brainwashed to think there's one template, a one-size-fits-all life for every single person in this world. And we're sitting here going, well, I don't know why I'm not happy. So I want to get into that. So we're handed a script. We're told it's normal. And then we spend the next 30 years wondering why it feels like a costume that doesn't fit. So we're told, this down, we're told to go to college. We're told to get a job. We're told to be married by the time we're 30. Buy a house. Get a dog. Have kids. Stick it out. Retire, travel, die. Is that not what we're told life is? And everyone's confused because everyone's like, well, I'm following the rules. Why don't I feel good? Because why is that rule for you? Did you ever sit to figure out, and this is what human design actually is really good at, it shows you how to live your life without resistance, which is part of what I do. But we're given this template and we're told this is your path to happiness. Once you do all these things, and then we get there and we're confused. It's a template. It's not truth. It's not your truth. You never stopped to ask yourself, what is it that I really want? Because you don't even realize you're lying to yourself because you're following the template. And it's supposed to fit, right? Billions of people out there, and it's supposed to fit everyone. So let me see here. What did I say? So we're praised for how well We perform within this template, not how deeply it aligns, right? We're praised by how well we perform inside the script. If you perform well, you're going to be rewarded, but it's all rewards that don't freaking feel like anything. They don't feel good. They feel hollow. So I'm like, I'm going to try harder. I got to find someone. Maybe it's a different person. Maybe it's a different car. Maybe it's a different house, a different job. So our soul didn't come here to follow a script. And that's why we start to feel so much resistance, right? So we look successful on the outside, but we feel miserable. We check every single box within that script, but we feel spiritually bankrupt. We try to be grateful. Grateful is another awesome one, right? That's such gaslighting, the grateful trick, because we tell ourselves, well, no, I'm really grateful for everything I have. Well, no shit. Me too. Every time I go out to my car, I'm like, thank God it turns on. I'm grateful for it. But it isn't the one I want forever. You know what I mean? I want better. But I'm super grateful for the fact that I have 4 wheels that I can get places with. But if we keep telling ourselves we're grateful for what we have, and that's it, and we feel guilty for wanting anything more, it's a trap. It's a trap. You're not living, you're performing. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Do you see it? So most people aren't unhappy because their life is hard. They're unhappy because they're living a script they were handed. Your parents showed you, this is what you do, or your culture, this is what you do, your church. So you have to understand that if things are falling apart, which they will, they're going to, if things are falling apart and things are collapsing, it's not a punishment. It's typically not a punishment. It's because what you built on a lie is collapsing and it needs to be rebuilt. So who exactly benefits from us living that script, that template, that one-size-fits-all life? Who benefits from it? One is the system. And I've talked about this in many other podcasts. The system is who benefits when we stay small. We are a society that was built on being predictable, obedient, and exhausted. Think about that. If we live the template life, we stay in debt, we stay distracted, and we stay afraid to break the mold. Everyone's afraid to go outside of the template because of what people will say, what people will think. Well, if no one was watching, would you choose the life you have right now? It's an interesting question, isn't it? So we keep working, we keep buying, we keep numbing, and we keep performing just like we're supposed to. The script makes us a manageable human resource, not a sovereign soul. So I've said this before, the system is anything that keeps us away from who we are as a sovereign, individual soul. And this isn't, I'm not talking hocus pocus shit. I'm talking real. Most people understand that they have a soul and it's original. It's not like anyone else's. Yes, it's part of the whole, but you're individual. You have your own preferences. You have your own needs, desires. Why would it ever fit in a one-size-fits-all system? That's because when you stay small, when you stay quiet and obedient, you don't question things, you benefit the entities, the system. Number 2, who benefits by us staying small and asleep and blind? Corporations and industries built on insecurity. Think about this. If you hate your body, you're going to spend a bunch of money on diet products, right? If you hate your life, you're going to buy more distractions. You hate your job, You're going to buy more weekends, more vacations, more wine. Think about that. When you hate your job, 50, 60 hours a week, you cannot wait for Saturday and Sunday. Now it's more like Saturday because the Sunday is like, I dread going on Monday. But you're going to buy more trips, buy more alcohol. You hate yourself, you're going to buy anything that helps you to fix that. It doesn't fix anything. And I talked about this in podcast number 12, where I said, it's everything that's out there. All the self-help stuff is just enough. It doesn't take you all the way. It doesn't tell you to change your reality. It just helps you feel better in it. Big difference. Insecurity is profitable. A scripted life keeps you insecure because you're constantly measuring yourself against a fake ideal. I can't read my own writing at 3 o'clock in the morning writing. So let me say that again. When you're living a scripted life, you're insecure because you're constantly measuring yourself against a fake ideal. Does that resonate? So number 3 of who benefits from us staying small and living in a script are the people who need you to stay small. So your parents, your partners, your bosses, your friends, anyone who has benefited from your silence, your self-abandonment, and your compliance. Ask yourself that. Who are the people in your life that have benefited from you staying quiet? You got to stretch yourself here, because if you're going into work like I did and there was an abusive environment behind the scenes and everyone's so afraid of losing their job because they need to pay bills, right? So there's abusive things that being said. Everyone knows, passive aggressive, all this shit, but you stay quiet. So that behavior continues. I was in a few abusive relationships, but when I think about it, all of the things that were done to me, I stayed quiet because I didn't want to rock the boat, and I didn't want anyone to be mad at me, and I didn't think I was worth it. So I stayed quiet and I stayed cordial with these people. But they got to just move on with their life. Whether they did or not, or how they feel inside, I don't know. But I know that me not facing them and saying, this is what happened, they get to just forget about it, or try to at least. So who is benefiting from you staying compliant, staying small, staying quiet? Who's benefiting from you abandoning yourself? And you have to understand, if you wake up one day and you decide, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm walking out on the script, all of these 3 things that I said, so the system, the corporations and the industry and the people, they start to lose control. And they lose the version of you that made their life easier. When you're compliant, when you're quiet, when you're obedient, when you stay small, and when you abandon yourself, you make things easier for an abusive system, for an abusive person, for an abusive boss, for an abusive company. We're raised to not rock the boat. We don't want to rock the boat because I need a paycheck, because I don't want to be alone. What else is there? What do you mean, Sarah? This is what you do. You go to school, you get a house, you get a dog, you've been lied to. Just pretend that you had a clean slate when you were born and your parents said, well, this is what we chose, but what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And they looked at your skills, your innate skills, and what you're really good at. And they didn't say, well, you need to go to college because that's what you do, when you're not a student by any stretch of the imagination. But you did it. because they told you to. And the whole time you're miserable and there's a disconnect and you don't feel good while you're doing it. But this is the way I'm supposed to go. What if your parents and your community actually said, wow, this kid is a wonderful leader and they have such knowledge about this particular thing. Let's grow that. Or I don't know, there's so many things that people are good at, and it's just diminished because you're told you need to get married by the time you're 30 and you need to have kids. Bullshit. If you asked yourself and stopped lying to yourself and took your mask off and had no ability, like Liar, Liar, the movie, you have no ability to lie anymore, what would your life look like? Would you have done it that way? And you have to be brutally honest with yourself. Would you have done it in the template way, in the script? Nobody even told me this was an option when I was younger. I followed the script. And man, it's been a bumpy ass road. I got like good 5 years as far as relationships are concerned. And then I'm like, well, maybe I wasn't doing it the way that I really wanted it. Maybe I was forcing something to manifest in a way that I really didn't want it. That wasn't for me. And why is that wrong? So what happens when you actually start living true? And who loses? So every broken system will lose when you start being true to who you are, when you start connecting to the individual soul that you are and stop following the template, the script, the broken systems. And I call them broken because they are broken. They're lying. Every fake relationship is going to go bye-bye. And trust me, I was like this with relationships that I knew didn't really feel well, or they didn't feel good. But it's like, but this is what I'm supposed to do, right? How do I get out now? Every fake relationship is going to go away. It's going to collapse. So you can build new ones. So you can be around people that feel like there's a connection there. There's a deeper connection than like, who do I have to be on the outside? Do I have to carry the right purse to be with this person or drive the right car? Fuck that. So every job that exploited you, that exploited your energy, and if you're honest with yourself, you know there are a ton of those out there. So as soon as you start living true, those fake ass jobs that exploited you and used you, and all of them are doing that, right? They'll collapse. And then every lie you were taught to protect, they're all going to go. And then there's going to be people who look at you like you're nuts. When you start living true, trust me. But I can't, it's like I glitch almost when things aren't like, when I'm not being true, or when I see someone who's speaking, but I know they're not being honest with themselves. I feel this glitch. You guys feeling that? Where it's getting harder and harder to be fake. When people say, how are you doing? And you're like, good, how are you? To me, it's like poison in my freaking ears. It's just a routine. It's just what you do. So let me know what you guys think about this. Are you living a script? If you're honest with yourself, do you see the script you were handed? And if you could go back to the beginning and be honest with what you're really good at and what you really love to do and what makes you feel really good, what would you have done? And what do you need to admit to yourself today? What do you need to admit to start opening the door so your life isn't so resisting? So it isn't so dark. and bleed. And so it doesn't look the same every freaking day because tomorrow's going to look like today. And then you're going to be old and shit. And you're going to be like, what have I done? I lived a script. So follow me here on YouTube and send me comment, share this with somebody, head over to my TikTok, Sarah Saxby. I'm on Instagram. Shoot me an email, sarah@strategiesforhappiness.com. Let me know what you think because I know a lot of people can't or aren't ready to comment on social media. I get it. I say a lot of things that people don't. And I'm going to continue to do that because I know that there are people out there that are really, really wanting to change, that hear what I'm saying, that are going, holy shit, did she just say that? Well, good, because I'm going to say a lot more things. But you could book a truth room with me. It's 90 minutes and we can literally sit and you can't escape. You can't escape your truth when you're with me. Something that I've just been able to do. And we'll use human design and figure out how to help you live without less, how to live with less resistance. So I look forward to hearing from you guys. Let me know if there's anything you want to talk about, and we'll see you soon.